things up. What? Just the four of us. Matt, you will be missed.
He doesn't listen to the podcast. He's a knob.
Nah, he doesn't.
Are we a podcast now?
Oh, sorry. Everything's a podcast, Luke.
We've always been a podcast.
I mean, it's basically an audio-based medium anyway.
I mean, yeah. Last session, you spoke first as Dokramir, Griffin, Galahad, and Daviak to the Raven Queen. She thanked you for taking care of Queen Yara and offered to help you in keeping Tiamat at bay. She told you of the God's Bane blade and how the gods called it Excalibur after it was given to her by the god Mask, and she split the blade in two. She keeps the hilt and handle of the sword with her, but she gave the blade to an Archfey that lives within the Singing Vale in the Feywild. The Archfey was called Killian the Shifter. After you've retrieved the blade, you're to bring it back to her along with the trustworthy blacksmith, and you will have Excalibur, the God's Bane. She did, though, warn you, however, that its power was made for gods, and she knew not what its effects would be on a mortal soul, but I guess we'll see when we get there. She also gave you a couple of gifts, including a small raven token and a tuning fork attuned to the Shadowfell. You returned to the capital and went about your business for the next day or so, contacted Gylndan, returned Cathaniel to his original form, took up residence in your new home, learning the origins of the Lich's Eye and what lay within the church. With all that said and done, squared away, we picked back up with Glyndon, Oramis, and Mazzy, who, with Angus, headed north to the Dragon Sanctuary. There you saw the small town and how far it had come, and you met many of the new denizens there. You then spoke to Albers on the Black Prophet, and he revealed to you that the Black Prophet was someone from his past, a black dragon named Rashak. Rashak was a strange black dragon, in that he was kind, noble, and unlike most black dragons, he saw wisdom in dragons sticking together and coming together as a community. During the Dragon War, he was a courageous warrior, saved Albers' life in an ambush, but however, at some point, Rashak became sick with the dragon sickness and mortally wounded by an attack. Dragons were unable to heal him, and he feared for the worst, but he never gave up. He began praying to any deity that would listen, finally finding tomes of Tiamat. He offered much of his hoard to her, and in return, he was healed. Though healed much better, he became cruel and ruthless, convincing other dragons that they should be at the top of the food chain and rule the world with Tiamat as their queen. Him and those few that followed him ruined the opportunity for a truce between Ambyr and the south, and so they would be to be put to death. However, Albers owed him a life debt after saving him, and so he set him free instead. But it seems he's back and gathering allies where you think is the Silverhold. Albers recommended you gathered allies to fight him, as he'll be an ancient dragon, a being of extraordinary power. You gathered your things, and then teleported yourself to the shattered coast towards Oramis' ship, the Vengeance. And that is where we pick up the session. Felix. Start with you, Felix. You have spent a little bit of time obviously doing your things. Me and you discussed what Felix had done, but this fine morning, you finally came upon the Shattered Coast. You did a few dealings here and there, and you've just arrived at you've sort of recently arrived at the Vengeance, this huge frigate, gold sort of lined banisters, literal golden, not literally made of gold, but golden sails. This, I don't want to say eyesore, but it definitely stands out amongst everything in the Shattered Coast.
Eyesore would definitely be the wrong word.
It is a huge and beautiful ship. Obviously, you remember it. You sailed upon it, and as you arrived, you were greeted by Caspian, Mason, and Frank, who all greeted you upon the ship. You allowed Caspian to speak through his sending stone, and then you were shown the Arcanum room. Very, very quickly, sort of, this all happens in pretty quick turn, as you're suddenly whisked away down into the Arcanum room. This quite large room, considering it's within the space of a frigate. which has a large sort of cage in the middle, the circular, like 10 by 10 foot iron cage. But the bars of the cage are a sort of Venetian pattern, like the iron is almost like a Venetian pattern going around it. And within you can see the arcane. And within you can see the arcane markings on the floor of a teleportation circle, something that you as a wizard would be quite attuned with. You can also see books in the far corner. You can see a scribing desk in another far corner, and another set of books that are all chained up to basically the walls and like chained up to the bookcases. Is there anything you would like to do immediately in this instance after being brought down here? You weren't really told what to do. You were just told that Oramis wanted you to go and see the arcane room.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'll just have a bit of a poke around, like have a look at some of the books or anything like that's here that might be interesting.
Okay. Roll me anything in particular you'd be interested in? Bear in mind, this is the library of a cursed captain that's been alive for many, many years. Anything particular, or just a regular gander?
Just a regular gander, I think. Just have a look through.
Okay, make a quick perception check.
Perception. Oh, that's a good start.
26. Right, yeah. So you are looking through this. You are looking through this space, and
financial records. He knows everything.
Yeah, and I'll say this is probably more of an important thing in the future, as you are very, very quick to just sort of gather your thoughts and gather your things throughout this space, and basically you're not like looking through what's there, but you're figuring out what information is here for later. So I'll say that with this roll, yeah, you're pretty sure that you'll be able to remember what is down here. For if you need any information, you're aware that there is a lot of talk on sea creatures, arcane, different things, lots of the life stories and like journals and things of previous captains, and things like that. And you're taking your time, and it takes you a pretty quick amount of time to do this, maybe about 5, maybe 10 minutes. And as you're looking down here, like Caspian is gone to do something at this point, but then he comes back into the room. You find anything interesting there, Mr. Felix? Oh my god! As suddenly the arcane teleportation circle flares up. And coming through first, you hear it first, this and then the crunching of iron, and a fucking elephant charges through the cage, pushes its way into the room, realizes it can't stand, and then just sort of like crawls most of the way into the room, realizes it can't do anything, and just starts freaking the fuck out. Moving around, like knocking things with its massive, tusks. This is a fully grown elephant.
You're paying for this.
I did think last week when we were like, we'll take Chikara onto the ship, I thought, after we finished the session, I was in bed, I just thought, that's a fucking dreadful idea.
It's a big ship, but
you've
massive.
You all physically feel the ship sort of like slightly one side, and then soon following, coming out of the basically wreckage that was once this fine sort of like cage around the teleportation circle, making sure that if anyone were to use it, they would be either trapped inside or unable to follow people outside, is now just completely fucking ruined. Some of the bookcases are being destroyed. Chikara's trunk just goes straight through the scribing desk, right through the middle of it. And yes, soon after appears Oramis, Mazzy, and a new figure that you've never seen before. Tall, bald man wearing green robes, like fancy sort of green layered, very clearly sort of like wizardry or scholarly robes. Long staff with a dragon's head on it. And a tattoo of an eye on his forehead. Oramis, Mazzy, Gylndan, you've disappeared in this room, and Chikara is freaking the fuck out, barely able to like proper stand and move, so is just trying to move around. Yeah, sure, make an animal handling check.
I'm good at these. No. Oh, do I still have a leftover roll from? Actually, it's a 5. I won't use that.
Please no. Oh.
No, it's not. It's not much better.
It is a 5.
Can I have advantage because my lifelong companion.
I would have given you. I would have given you probably your proficiency in it, not necessarily advantage, because it's like you're not necessarily you're proficient in dealing with Chikara. It's not like a flat out sort of advantage thing. So that's an 11. So make me a wisdom save for Chikara. Chikara's looking to get lower than 11.
She's useless.
This is the time to use your 5.
Yeah.
She's lower than 11, is what you said.
Lower than 11.
Oh yeah, she's a 5 then.
Yeah. Though you are, though you're going up there, and it does take a little bit of it does take a little while for you to like properly calm her down, and maybe the trunk sort of swings just over your head. You eventually do manage to calm Chikara down. Just sort of like pat her on the side and reassure her that you're there and it's fine. Everything is fine now. But she's definitely like shaking and very uncomfortable in this small space. And it's now you realize, yeah, she's not going to fit through the door.
Send her back.
Sorry, I'll polymorph her into a mouse. I know she loves that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll roll it. I don't think she can
actually, I'll just do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, she fails. So yeah, whenever you do it, Chikara will fail and turn into a mouse.
Okay, I'll do it now actually because this is probably will help calm her down.
Yeah, can you do something about this? Everyone pressed into the walls by the elephant.
Oramis, far be it for me to tell you how to run your ship security, but you appear to have an intruder.
This is my good friend. Best friend. Felix.
Mazzy's like, sup, Felix?
That might be stretching the relationship, but sure, I mean, me and Griffin are basically the reason why Oramis has got this ship, so it's...
We are best friends, both.
Oh, you know Griffin.
Yes, Griffin is a good friend.
I couldn't stand him personally, so...
He's a bit like that. He can be like that with people. Griffin was the one that looked like an old man.
Oramis has terrifying flashbacks of being absolutely laid out.
He makes that joke, which one was Griffin again, but with like a quivering bottom lip.
One thing I will say, one thing I really love about that arc is the first thing that Oramis and Griffin did was Oramis got absolutely fucking destroyed by him, and then in the end, Griffin saved him. So I think that's that's character growth right there.
Character. Actually, we were chatting about funny shit in that arc. I just remembered that we had like a whole maybe half an hour session where we were travelling to where Halland was, and Mazzy and I just had an arm wrestle competition.
No. It wasn't even that. You had who can jump higher competition. It was literally just who can jump higher.
There was an arm wrestling did go on at one point.
There was an arm wrestle.
Because I tried to bet on Griffin and then
you as a paladin
and then cheat.
Guidance.
Yeah, and then Matt got all upset about it. He's like, I definitely know something's going on. And he won anyway, so.
Yeah. But before that, there was just, Mazzy, I bet I could jump higher than you. I just remember thinking, if you want to bet, just bet on something more interesting than that. But anyway, yes, you're all, within this space. What would you all like to immediately do?
So turn car into a mouse. Just ask. Is any of the crew in the room or?
No, Caspian was, but he fucking bolted after seeing what to him was a monster, but it's actually just an elephant. He's very clearly never seen an elephant before. They are not very common in Amber.
I'm so glad
Probably
my
just go up to the
right-hand man ran away.
Hey, that's the first thing you saw.
In the harbour.
Yeah. So you head up to the top deck, and yes, you are indeed in the harbour. Many crew are gathered around. Frank and Mason, as soon as you come out, are immediately very, very happy to see you. They both come up to you, shake your hand, and say, "Oh yeah, hey, Captain. We spent about 6 days here. We've hired a few new crew. We maybe got we're nearly there. Maybe like half a dozen more, and we'll have a full crew to man this thing. Just meet the lads, and you can see many of the obviously original crew from the Dragon's Revenge. They've always been Irish.
I'm not sure I have.
Yeah, I'm
Was it-
pretty sure.
Ben, when
all
you're,
the casting, it was Irish.
Man, when you're acting out Frank, you've got to be like quite jolly, and then just all of a sudden be really serious for no reason. So,
Captain, we've got a whole new crew, but seriously, we need about 6 more guys.
No, actually, I think I'm wrong. I think Caspian's the one who's Irish. I think they're just normal. So.
I don't think anyone's been Irish. Oh, so yeah, you
No,
can't.
they definitely have. They definitely have been Irish. Anyway.
Well, they are now.
I took the effort to name about 12 guys of my crew as well, by the way.
You did, yeah, and they're all part of the Dragon's Revenge, as well.
They're with Caspian, aren't they? But I kept Frank and Mason under my close
personal
inspection.
watch.
Well, I thought
sorry,
so. The
what
way
ship are you
I
on now?
listen. So you are now on the Vengeance, the
Yes.
massive
Oh,
frigate, and
fucking-
Glyndon, as you
They've gone for
head out,
slightly different names.
yeah, as you head out, you suddenly realize, Glyndon, that this ship is fucking huge. You're very obviously not on the Dragon's Revenge anymore, not the one you ever knew. And as you head out, you just see these huge golden sails, the golden sort of banisters, and the like delicate carvings everywhere. The fact that he's got 48 fucking guns now, and literally decks of men going through and like loading cannons and cleaning things and making sure they're all right. And every time you walk past anyone, people just stop and go, "Ah, good to see you, Captain. Hiya, Captain. How's it going?" You know, and it all like literally like 30 odd dudes just stopping and saying hello, Captain, to Oramis. It's a little bit much. Some of them you recognize.
It's very modest. Very modest, your ship.
It's very under the radar. Good for just pure business.
Do you have trumpeters announce when you go into battle, or?
Now that is a good idea. Use a level 1 bard on this ship.
Hey, you can hire a bard if you want to get a bard.
Is there any Gith Yankee bards kicking around?
Too soon, man.
Tell
Too
Frank to
soon.
keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep
Pardon?
an eye on your furniture.
Can I
if
tell
you
Frank
hire
to keep an eye out for a good bard? An
Absolutely.
adequate bard, not too good.
Don't want to be
Don't want
shown
things
up.
going to the bottom of my ship.
An adequate bard, right? I'll keep an eye.
A
I'll keep an
solid
eye out.
6.3 out of 10.
Absolutely. By the way, me and Mason were being very, very responsible the other evening. Totally responsible, of course,
That
and
surprises
just checking the local taverns to see if any. And then Mason comes in. We were getting pissed, Captain. Yeah, shut up. And some servants, men of the Admiral came up to us, and he wants to speak with you at some point. He asked when you were back, and we kind of didn't know, so we just said soon.
Right answer. Vague and non-committal. All
Yeah,
times.
this was like 3 days ago, so I think he
I am
wants to
back
speak with you
soon.
at some point. You are. This is technically soon. But yeah, he wants to
Is
speak
this
with you.
Admiral?
He kind of runs the Shattered Coast. He thinks he runs the Shattered Coast.
Yeah. Also,
It's
Glyndon,
iffy.
one thing you notice as you sort of leave, yeah, you can see all these huge rock spires and like large land formations just sticking out of the ground that definitely should have crumbled away by now, but don't. And you can see all around them, dug within them, built atop them, and around them are all these buildings, and there's rope bridges, and there's stone bridges, and there's all manner of things leading from all this. And it's the most strange civilization you've ever seen. Definitely a very Pirate Cove-esque place, but on a massive, massive scale. All around you are ships. There's merchant trading going on. There's still some people like looking towards the Vengeance, like, oh my god, it's the cursed ship. Blah, 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 blah.
It's totally different shit, bro.
And people sort of coming out and cheering. Like you definitely get the sense word has got around that Oramis Lowenhand got rid of Palohand, the guy who's been taxing people, and the guy who's been scaring the people of the area around here. And
I will be meeting these fans, shaking their hand.
Well, it's like
There's
4
any
or 5
babies
drunk
that need
dudes.
a kiss on the forehead, whatever.
It's like 4 or 5
Did we-
drunk people, a couple of couples, and they're like children or whatever, but they're just passing by and they're like, oh
Did
my
we
god.
come here to achieve our goal of defeating the priests of Tiamat, or did we come here to comb your ego?
It's all part of the greater plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so dead.
One Mason just says, yeah, whenever you want us to set off, Captain. As I say, maybe we do need a few more people. Yeah, as I say, half a dozen people, just a couple more people so that we can have lookouts and people running things. We should be able to run things fine, but if we're in a storm or any particularly bad weather, we might be in a little bit of a pickle. So yeah, a couple more people could be nice, but also, yeah, the Admiral wants to speak with you. I mean, if you want, we can head out and get. I can.
And while you're out there, just spread the good word of Oramis Lonehand. Just let everyone know that their freedom is because of Oramis and his trusty crew.
Cool. Do you have
That
another
includes
name
you.
though? Because people still think we're called the Cheating Bastards.
I fucking hate you two.
What did we do? We're not the ones who came up with the cheating. Actually, no. Yeah, that was us. Yeah, that was the thing. And yeah, and they're both just looking at each other like, yeah. Well, you've hired us now, and they both run off. Yeah. What is your plan of action now? Are you heading off straight away? Are you answering the call of the Admiral? What is going on?
Well, I also, Caspian, I told him to keep an eye out for any suspicious captains. Has he noticed any suspicious-looking captains?
Suspicious captains? No, Captain. Not as far as I'm aware. I've been fairly busy attending to the Dragon's Revenge and had a few repairs and things like that, but no, not as far as I've seen on many of the main docks. There have been some suspicious ongoings in some of the other docks, and word of these. What was it? Remember last time you were here and that man came up and he exploded into acid and he was wearing all those dark robes and things. Yeah, I think people have been talking about that a little bit. Definitely a little. Things are a little more uneasy around here lately. But
well,
as far as I can see.
Well, my good man, why don't you get out there and you spread the good word of Oramis and his companions, and you treat yourself to a little something, and I'm gonna just give him like 1 gold piece so he can buy himself something.
1 gold piece. Thank you very much, Captain.
And how's the business propositioning coming along? Found anything?
Well, we were sort of unsure whether most of the crew were meant to go to your ship or my ship, still technically your ship. So we haven't really gotten started on that yet, but I have a couple of leads on a couple of few different jobs, some fairly simple, some a little more task worthy, but yeah, are most of the original crew staying with me or going with you?
You could use some experienced hands to help you out. So you keep the old crew. I'll keep Frank and Mason. They need an extra.
All right, Captain. I'll take this, and he holds up the gold piece. And yeah, I'll go find. Well, I guess go find myself something, and I'll keep an eye out, spread the good word, and have a talk with some of my associates I've made. Ready to cast off whenever you are, Captain. And he walks off, heads off the ship towards the Dragon's Revenge, which he realizes is sort of like docked a few sort of like piers down, sort of thing. It's not very far at all. You can see it just within eyesight. Yeah. So what is the plan?
Should we all head over to the Admiral, or do you guys want to do something else?
So what the general goal is we need to strengthen before we go and face Rashak.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, whatever you end up doing with the Admiral might help in that cause. At the moment, I don't really have any leads on what we can do, who we can gather to our cause to help.
There's not really anyone in my crew that's going to be much.
It would be like we don't need like, we might need numbers, so we might need your ship because we're going to a prison. So there might be like general riffraff to deal with, but I think in terms of like, we need like a power person who can play a ball with us like when we're fighting a dragon priest. So I don't know who that is at the moment, unfortunately. I mean, we do have the four of us. I mean, Mazzy's still, even though Matt's not here, he's still a powerful ally.
I'm still here. Mazzy very awkwardly says.
And then I mean, Nathan is like frail utility, so we got four and a third.
Hey, I can be. Yeah, no, he's right.
Sorry, was I talking to you? No, I was talking about you.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Lowers his head.
Sorry, Nathan. It's nothing personal. So I think we go deal with your Admiral and see what comes from that. And maybe, I mean, is this Admiral a well-connected man?
I mean, he runs the Shattered Coast and all of the shady dealings that go on here.
So he might know someone that could be good in a pinch.
Maybe, if he's in position long enough.
Just before we go, Oramis, I don't know what your plan is, but it sounds very much like you're very casually chatting about some sort of coup. And look, whatever you want to do,
that's a democratic election. That is the only way that leaders get chosen in the Shattered Coast. It's not like none of these
elections.
Democratic little backhanders kind of help the democracy flow. A little bit of gold helps lubricate the old democratic gears.
The old wheels of democracy.
Use the word lubricate.
One of the few places in Amber that has this kind of
the
thing.
wheels of democracy are lubricated
place
by the coin of corruption.
Okay. I just
kind
wanna,
of trouble.
2023.
I just want to know what you're thinking, so that when the fireballs start getting flung, I'm aware that was a possibility. You know, it's just not nice to be surprised.
Listen, who better to lead the wretched scum and villainy of the Shattered Coast than me? The Admiral allowed a Black Prophet to take root in his very, backyard.
Okay.
Just an idea,
No, I'm starting to, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Maybe leadership actually suits you. A certain kind of leadership that's maybe a touch corrupt, but I think it suits you.
And just think, if we had the power of a town, sort of sorts behind us, maybe that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I think definitely.
Let's
Okay,
go.
well, lead on, my good sir.
All right. If you guys are heading to the Admiral's Tower,
Just on the way, I'm going to drop, because I've only got polymorph on Shakara for an hour. I'm going to drop her off at a stable.
Yeah, sure. Stable would put you quite far out of the way because obviously, so if you imagine on the map, you are like way down here. The Admiral's Tower is like here.
Oh,
Any
is there
stables
room
would be
on the top of the boat?
Oh yeah. There's room on the top of the frigate. Yeah, plenty of room.
It's not in.
Plenty of room.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, you unpolymorph Chikara.
It's not your decision, it's Luke's decision.
Oh.
Yes.
Anything for
can.
your old buddy, pal Glyndon.
Any damage you pay for.
Absolutely not. Let's go.
Yeah, Chikara gets unpolymorphed. She suddenly appears as an elephant. The entire crew are terrified. But upon, telling them who Chikara is and what she is and how some basics
Just
of
leave her as
taking
a
care
mouse,
of.
give Nathan a mouse to
Chikara.
look after and just wait and see what happens. Like a ticking time bomb. At some point, this mouse is going to be an elephant, and you don't know when.
Hey, look, guys. It's like that Ratatouille thing. Oh, my God. No, so, yeah, a lot of people suddenly start, like, gawking at the fact there's now an elephant on this golden frigate. But, this place can't get much weirder than that. Now...
Didn't someone marry a goat last time we were here?
They didn't
They got
marry a
married
goat.
and divorced. Married
Right.
and divorced.
He could be just the guy we're looking for.
Old Harry
Well,
goat
we'll
fucker.
see. As we do my favourite part about the Shattered Coast. In order to get to the Admiral's Tower, can you all make either an intelligence or a survival check to try and maneuver the strange walkways, uneven rope bridges, and all manner of crap just to try and get there?
What was it, intelligence or...
Intelligence or
Oh,
survival?
fuck.
I have 0 intelligence, so...
That doesn't surprise me.
Luke, you didn't have to announce that out loud. Yeah.
Glyndon, save us. Glyndon, save the two people
Jesus Christ.
who have
Also,
been
someone
to
can roll
this
for Mazzy.
I'll get Matt. Oh yeah, Mazzy done. Mazzy's got good survival, to be fair. He might be able to save us. No, that's it's Mazzy coming in
It's
with a
not
12.
looking good.
It's
Yeah,
actually
Straight
that's done.
intelligence, yeah?
Yeah, straight intelligence or straight survival.
Oh, thank God.
17.
Saving
So Felix, maybe your mind is elsewhere. Oramis,
definitely
you
is
are just
elsewhere.
taking in the
Yeah, he's got a lot on his
adoring
mind at the moment.
fans.
Oh, don't say that.
Uh,
Go to his head.
but Mazzy is like trying to help Glyndon, but he's just sort of like looking around like, oh yeah, we went that way, but now that bridge is closed. So I guess we now have to go this way.
Mazzy's looking for that girl he met in the bar.
Yeah, you can see his eyes, like, kind of wandering every now and again. And Glyndon, you are just trying to figure out, okay, let's think about this logically. This place leads to that place, and that place leads to that place. And you're definitely taking a leadership role here. But it still takes you an obscene amount of time. Like, you have walked this route in maybe, like, half an hour before. It takes you about an hour to walk this full route from this place to the next.
I like to think
On the
Glyndon's
way-
asking like where we're going, and we're all giving him terrible directions. No, it was that way. I'm telling you, it was that. No, last time we went that way, but that's when we were going to the pub, Mazzy.
Yeah, and then, oh yeah, no, it is that way, but that rope bridge broke because a guy fell through it. So now we have to go through another way, and it's all sorts of chaos. As you're walking towards this space, you see a couple of weird things. As you're walking past one of the houses, you can hear some commotion inside. Woman's just shouting loudly, "Oh, I'm sick of you coming home drunk every morning," and the man just follows with, "Well, what are you gonna do then? Kick me out?" And then suddenly there's a loud smash of glass, and a man tumbles through a first-story window out onto the ground below, dusts himself off, looks towards you guys and the surrounding people, and just goes, "Well, back to the pub then, I guess," and just walks off.
Ben, I thought you said
As
you were
you-
going to make these sessions more fuck, bro. Failed marriage?
As you also notice, so you're walking across a sort of like stone, one of the stone bridges, one between one of the bits and the next. They're a lot wider, sort of like 20 feet wide as opposed to like 10 feet wide. And you're walking across and you can see a man walking really jaggedly. He's wearing this long sort of trench coat, like a low hood over his head. He looks like a very suspicious but really drunk individual, right up until someone basically comes up to him and tries to pickpocket him. At which case, the person who pickpockets him nudges into him a little bit too hard, and out from the trench coat pour 3 goblins. At which point, each who are clearly stood on each other's heads trying to get by in this place. At which point they go, and they just jump off the edge of the bridge. You don't see where they went. You hope they're okay. But but they've gone somewhere. Eventually, you find your way. Everyone make me a perception check, really quick.
Oh boy. Not so good now, Gylndan.
Oramis, you're walking through the streets literally just as you're about to get there, and you can see a bunch of kids run past your troop, all just like, you know, one of them has like a wooden sword and the rest of them are chasing, and they're pretending to be zombies. What kids do in the Shattered Coast is their own business. And you see as they go past, one of the kids, Glyndon doesn't quite realize, but he dips his hand into Glyndon's pocket just as he's running by. You notice this. He very clearly doesn't. Do you say anything, do anything, or are you good?
Can I grab this kid's arm? Am I like close enough to like?
Make a sleight of hand check. Just as this little kid's like running by you. No. This kid actually. I mean, this will be like a contested roll. Okay, the kid rolled a 2. So it's sort of. I mean, you've still rolled low, so you go to grab this kid's arm, and you accidentally whack this kid over the side of the head, and then grab his arm. You've now got a kid who is now crying in your hands. Just hit me, while literally stood holding a pouch of stolen gold.
This young boy just stole your money pouch, and can I take the money pouch off the kid?
I didn't. This is my allowance, sir. It's my allowance.
You have 2,000 gold pieces as an allowance.
I mean, he stole like 10 gold, but
how is he nicking 2k off me?
Yeah, you'd feel 2k come off your pouch. He stole like 10 gold, put it in a bag, and then you grabbed his hand just afterwards. Okay, so he's holding this like small bag, and he's trying to convince you that it's
kid, I saw you. Don't mess with me.
Make me an intimidation check. Yeah, 15. It's just like, oh, fine, whatever. Drops it, walks off.
I was going to give him 1 gold and send him on his merry way. But he's being sassy.
No, he just fucks off. Clearly, like, doesn't take a massively insightful person to realize this kid is just trying to act hard in front of you and stuff, but that actually did kind of spook him a little bit. He's clearly not been caught very many times. But no, you finally make it to the Admiral's Tower, this huge abomination of architecture, which is like the first floor of a tower that was made like a while back, maybe 3 stories, and then some dwarves came in and clearly wanted to build their own story of it, so there's like some dwarven blocky architecture on top of that. And then elves came in and decided, no, we want the roof to be elven and we want the next floor to be... So it's just like, you know, human architecture, then dwarf, then elven, then maybe human again, and then maybe elven again. And it's this strange amalgamation of architecture that also has some scaffolding around one side where, Glyndon, you realise there was clearly an explosion not too long ago. Everyone else maybe still feels the burns of that explosion. And as you all move forward, you can see the 2 guards just outside wielding like long pikes in their hands, and one of them has like a pistol like strapped to his side, which you know he didn't have before. The other one only has a hand crossbow, so one of them has stolen something. And you are very promptly let in. Now, as you head into this space, you're not sure what hits you first. Whether it's the sweet aroma of wine, the fine smell of rum, the rather sickly, boggy smell of ale, or the putrid smell of vomit. But as you enter this room, you just see bodies strewn about across this open floor, this open sort of downstairs lobby of this tower. At first, you think the worst, but then you smell it, and you can see people going, people like lying there, some people moving around, and you realize there must have been a pretty hefty party here, because you can see a lot of these people, like, you know, humans, elves, dwarves, halflings, every kind of person, all like male, female, some clothed, some not, some clothed in some males and females clothing, animals, like farm animals, come clucking out of the one door. Some people are awake. Most people are still asleep, even though it's like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Must have been a pretty hefty party at this place at some point. And it's literally like you're having to like step over bodies of people until you reach like the middle of the room. As you reach the middle of the room, one of the guys on the stairs. So if you imagine it's like a large atrium room with the stairs that head up and then back around to other rooms and the stairs that lead up. And a guard is sat on them. He's clearly hungover, but when you come in, he gets up and walks upstairs to the Admiral. But as he gets up, like, oh, you're... I want to say Guardians, but I think it's Bastards. Do I owe you money?
It's Guardians. You do owe me money, but I'm a kind and generous man, and I will abolish your debt to me.
Oh,
This
cheers,
buying
mate.
favour Oramis is actually working quite well. I don't like it.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, the Admiral's. Yeah, I'll go get him. Walks upstairs, and he returns back downstairs. Oh, yeah, he's coming. And this guy walks downstairs, disappears off into another room, clearly to throw up as he does so rather loudly. And coming down the stairs is a dark-skinned human man, stood at about 6 feet tall. Shaved sides, long, like dreaded hair that's sort of tied up at the back, like goatee, mustache type thing, ring in his nose, golden rings in his ears, rings on his fingers, and he's wearing like the regular like pants and like boots of a pirate, but he has no shirt on, but instead a royal purple kimono. As he's walking down the stairs, still a glass of wine in his hand. Well, if it isn't my favorite individuals. Hello there, Guardians. Oh, how nice it is to meet you. Following him down is a half-elf man and woman just like wrapped in a blanket who are just like quietly scuttling away like, oh, yes, goodbye. That was meh.
Savage.
These two individuals like blush and walk down the stairs. Guardians, how grand it is to see you. Oh my... What? I recognize you. I recognize you. You're not my paladin.
I don't know if I'd offer my hand to someone like this. I'll just nod at him. Just go, I'm Professor Gylndan Althor. Pleased to meet your acquaintance.
Professor! Ah, man of intellect. Wait a minute. I've heard tales of you. The one on the Guardians with the 3 eyes. Yes. They say you can see the future. Now is that true?
To some extent, yes.
Oh, then we are going to get along very well, Mr. Althor. Please, gentlemen, come to my new office. Ponsky? Yes, rid yourself of your office. I need it. And he walks upstairs very, very quickly, ushering you, basically like, turning around, waving his kimono like a big cape, flourishing it as he turns, and heads
Absolutely
upstairs.
still drunk.
Possibly. You're not entirely sure. You're led upstairs into a room. Now, if you remember, his previous office was a large, tall room. This is a room maybe half the size of that, though he has tried to cram in every aspect of his old office as he can. So, like, paintings are leaning up against the wall. His desk takes up half the room, as well as his, like, fine chair that was clearly someone's throne at one point. He did have stools for all of you, but now they don't fit anymore. So as you enter, he just sort of throws pillows on the ground. Pillows that were on chaise lounges and sofas and armchairs that were in his room, but now they're just piled up in a corner. He just chucks them on the floor. And there you can see Ponsky, his ever diligent servant, a human man, maybe in his early 60s, still holding on to some essence of ginger in the hair that sort of wraps around his head and he's balding on top. A long sort of crooked nose with some spectacles in the end. And he dresses like a man who definitely expected his life to go a lot more different than being the Admiral's assistant. Definitely had dreams of being some high society individual, but has definitely not got there yet. And Ponsky is sat on a small sort of table that's clearly built for like a gnome or a halfling or someone just in the corner, where it's small and he's not in the way. He enters in, goes like climbs, like literally like jumps on his desk, goes over his desk and sits on his like throne, leans back, puts his feet up. That's better. Guardians, please take a seat. These are the finest cushions around. I think. So I was told by the merchant who sold them to me. If you don't want to sit on the floor, I fully understand. Ponsky, stand up. Maybe they can sit on your desk. But I need to work out the funds for that party. It went over budget by quite a... Budget schmudget, sir. Get out. What? Sir? Get out. Actually, no, don't. I miss you. Stay here.
What? Imagine working with this guy. You'd get now.
So, my friends, you are back so soon. This is rather interesting. How have you all been?
What do you want?
What? Oramis, so hostile. Lord, things have happened to you this past week, haven't they? Well, we'll get to that later. Right now, yes, I do want something. I want what I think you want, good sirs. Last time you were here, if you remember, there was a strange man who turned himself into acid, and he said that you were all on a terrible path, yada, 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 boring, religious mumbo-jumbo. Now, he is still here. Well, not him, obviously, he got turned into acid, but his acolytes, others of him, are still here. And, I mean, I'm assuming by now you all know what's happened to Dawnport.
No.
No.
Yes.
Please elaborate.
You...
Felix?
You don't know. Ah, that is interesting. Right. So apparently...
East Coast, man.
Dawnport is indeed on the East Coast, yes. Now...
Or south of the Shire Coast?
South. So if I just put you really quickly on the
That's not where
map.
Hercule went, is it?
That is around the area where Hercule is. So obviously Shattered Coast, way up here. Dawnport, way far on the thing. Like furthest east city. Way over there. As far as you're all aware, like your basic knowledge of Dawnport is that it's one of them cities that's so small, it's surprising it's even counted as a city. It has no reason to be a city. There's not a lot that's significant about it other than, you know, the common knowledge of it is it's a town where all the fishermen folk and people go and gather and do trade and things on the East Coast. Rather than going all the way up around the hump that is the East Coast thing, they just go there and then go back. And that's where a lot of trade happens. The Admiral sits back and says, well, here's the rub. So I've received some intelligence that a big white scaled demon with massive wings came along with a bunch of these interesting cultists and, sort of froze the city. Apparently it had a big breath. People were saying it was a dragon. I don't believe it was a big white dragon. I'm pretty sure they're extinct. But people have been saying a big dragon, and some of these cultists have taken over the city. Now, I've tried to contact my contact in Dawnport, and I haven't heard anything since. From what I've gathered about people who've gone there and back, the city's in, well, to be frank, it's in a bit of an ice age. I think these individuals, these cultists, these strange men in dark robes and scars are trying to take over cities in Ambyr, and it's come to my attention that I'm quite a target. In the lower docks, I've heard rumors of them gathering, and it is, well, I don't particularly fancy having a big dragon come over and ruin my city. Everything I've worked very, very hard to keep up here. And yes, I don't particularly fancy that. So if you could deal with them down in the lower docks, if you could go and do what you Guardians I've heard you are all very, very good at, I will give you some gold. And I don't know. I mean, I think that's about it. I think all you need is gold. Is there anything else you might need, or?
Well, I think Oramis might have his own plans, but we could do with it might be a lucky day actually, Admiral. We're also looking at dealing with this group, but we're looking at cutting the head off it entirely. So I think I speak for all of us when I say we'll do your little dirty work, but if you know anyone that could help us take on the beast, then that would be more useful to us than gold.
Well, here's my...
Well-connected man like yourself, of course.
Of course. Here's my thing, is that I would rather like for these individuals not to know that I was the one who ordered you, because on the off chance that you all perish, I think I'd like to keep my options open. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be one of these cultist individuals. Of course I'm not. I think they're batshit crazy. But if I was just to listen to their mumbo-jumbo and, maybe make a deal, that would be fine. So if you could go down there and deal with them, and then we can talk about me giving you some assistance with this big white demon dragon. Though I don't particularly fancy any of my ships getting frozen upon the sea by a big dragon. Although from what I've heard, there wasn't actually many cultists taking over the town of Dawnport. It's just the fact that they've got a massive dragon to back them all up when they call he arrives, sort of thing.
Admiral.
Yes. Oramis.
Strap in.
My darling.
Good man. I hear your plight, and I would love to help you, but I also fear for your safety as well.
Yes.
I think
that is why you are all here.
I think what you should do, in order strictly to protect yourself, solely to protect your good self, is very publicly and vocally denounce the Admiralty over to me purely as a front.
I can't tell if Ben's laughing in character or just laughing.
Both. The Admiral is like smiling, beaming wide.
So that if anything should happen, it would not come back onto yourself, your good self. And if it comes back on me, you can merely swoop in and take back over as if you knew nothing of this.
Can I try and gauge Ponsky's reaction to the prospect of Oramis taking over, even in a fictitious capacity?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
14. It's alright.
Yeah, a little confused, a little surprised. There's maybe a slight hint of worry there.
Okay, so he's not like hopeful or optimistic about the idea.
Yeah, you can imagine that a man such as him, in a place such as this, possibly could have left a long time ago if he wasn't, happy. I mean, he's clearly not happy, but at the same time, something is clearly keeping him here. What that is, you're not entirely certain. Okay. But yeah, the Admiral just sort of looks at you, Oramis, and Oramis, my Oramis, my dear, I'm extremely happy, so caring of my well-being and my health. I truly am. And I don't think I could think of anyone better to take over from my position than a man of your stature, of your charisma, of your wit. But I'm not quite done yet. And even if these assholes in strange clothing dared to come here, I think I would be quite safe for a time. I have learned to handle myself in days gone by, and I think I have enough contacts and, well, bribes and blackmails in places to get myself by, and to have enough people in Amber scared that I would die. I think I'll be fine. But thank you very, very much for your concern. It is greatly appreciated. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I will say, yes, you can't roll to persuasion a guy off of his throne. I'll say, I will say this, make me a deception check.
Okay, I really wish I hadn't rolled. Wasted that 13. It's okay. So,
Okay, so at the very least, he does believe that that was genuinely a plea for his safety rather than an obvious trick to get you into power. I will say that much. So you'll find these individuals, so far as the rumors have said, down in a tavern called the Dancing Devil. Should be down somewhere on the lower, somewhere down on the lower docks. So yes, if you can go to them, do their business. You said you were going to cut the head off the snake. Is there anything I might be able to help you with in that regard? Anything I can look up and...
If you know anyone that has experience in, or is a capable warrior, then we'd be very interested in hearing them. A capable warrior, magician, healer, anything like that. Who's looking for a bit of work, we would be
we're interviewing.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I think I might be able to do that.
Don't undersell it. It's going to be fucking dangerous. Tell them that.
Oh,
we do
yes,
not want someone who thinks they're good and they're mopping up weak stuff to then come in and this is the fate of the world sort of stuff. So only your best. We are not sifting through the CVs of your C rank people. We want the creme de la creme. Okay.
Is that C the letter or C the body of water?
The letter.
Does
I want
anyone
your
else
A
miss?
grade people.
Does anyone else miss the paladin? This guy's kind of serious. A bit of a buzzkill.
I don't remember this paladin.
Yes, of course. Of course, Mr. Gylndan, of course. I will find you the best individuals the Shattered Coast and I myself have to offer. Now, come back to me when the deed is done. And you will have your payment. And I will send my little feelers out for anyone that might be able to help you in your endeavor. Maybe I have a message or two I can send. Toodaloo. He just sits there, puts his feet up.
Any chance of some
Ponsky.
kind of advance in case we need to hire some extra help or buy supplies or anything like that along the way?
Half up front.
Make a...
One
I'll
second.
say make a... I'll say make...
Say it.
I'm going to say that Felix can make a persuasion check with you giving him advantage as he was the one who initiated that question.
I'm not terrible at this. There we go.
Oh,
He's pretty good. Yeah. You know what? Considering you might actually die, I've heard these individuals are a little nasty. Sure. Ponsky, how are we looking on that budget? Awful, sir. Truly awful. Why did you need to buy that? Why did you need to buy that snake? Ponsky, I didn't ask for a stupid question. I asked for how we were doing on the budget. And I told you. Ponsky, I want 300 gold for each of these men right now.
oh. Tasty.
But sir, the last of the money was to... It was for my... Yes, I know about your holiday, yada, yada, yada. I'll make that up for you. Just give it to them. Oh, fine, sir. He walks out of the room. There's a few, awkward minutes of just, the admiral like sat there, clearly just like enjoying his drink, just staring at each of you up and down. Especially you, Glyndon, because he's never really met you. Just getting a good read on you. You know, the equivalent of like insight checks on you before then Ponsky returns with a big sort of crate of gold, puts it down. Yes, 300 gold for each of you as an advance. Here you go.
I will take it. I now have 300 gold.
300 gold.
Fantastic. So, at your own discretion, you can. Oh, yep.
I was just going to ask if Ponsky can show us out.
Oh,
Let's say, Luke, like this Ponsky man. If you want to stage a coup, he might be the person to go to.
yes, of course. Ponsky, show them out. Clear some of those people out the way. You know what? Wake them all up. It's the middle of the day, for God's sakes. Just tell them to get over the hangovers. It's fine. And yes, Ponsky leads you down the stairs outside. Starts like slowly tapping people on the legs, and no one moves, and no one wakes up. They just all like start moving towards the walls. So now it's almost like there's this walkway between the amalgamation of people that are all hungover and sleeping and just like, what the fuck did I do last night, sort of thing.
Ponsky, I've got to ask. How expensive was that snake?
Well, you know your frigate.
Yes.
It's bigger.
Sorry?
He made a deal in his drunken stupor with the ocean elves and bought a sea monster from them. It's big.
Ponsky, are you happy in your work?
Do
you enjoy working for a buffoon?
Well, I would have.
I mean, a sea monster seems like a good defense of the city, if you ask me.
Don't encourage him.
That's a good investment, yeah.
I know what this is. Yes, I'm very happy working for the Admiral. Don't think I haven't seen a thing or two in my day. I'm not that stupid young boys. I'm Lord Trent. Admiral thinks I'm that stupid to fall for something like that.
I just think your talents would be much better, could be much better used than they currently are. Like, you're being ordered around like a whipping boy, but I can clearly see you're a very wise man.
I have known that man up there since he was a very, very young child. And he has gotten me out of a situation. I owe him my life. And, well, I'm the only family he's really got left. Even if he doesn't treat me like it.
Fucking hell.
And that is all I will say on the matter.
Can I give him? Oh, that might just be a waste of 30 gold, but I don't want to get my gold to around 5,000. Around 5,000.
You want to drop your gold
5,000.
Yeah, I've only got 5,000 gold.
I hate you so much.
Only got 5,000 gold.
All my characters are so poor by comparison.
Ponsky turns, and Ponsky walks away. Bear in mind, you got 5,000, but you have to pay for all the new crew to get hired.
Actually, I'm not giving him my 30 gold. Ponsky, give it back.
He didn't take it.
Wait, you're saying you're going to give him 30 gold, is that what you said?
Yeah, towards his holiday, because our advance.
Even though we all just received 300, you're going to give him 30 gold.
That's a tenth of what I've just learned I'm giving to him. For literally no reason.
That was his before it came to you.
I mean, what holiday is this man going on that costs 1,200 gold?
Well, you get the
good
sense
guy.
that obviously not all of it was, but certainly when you think of like to be fair, when giving 300 gold to each of you, yes, that certainly dipped into his holiday fund. If not, used it all up. One of you is probably holding the entirety of that holiday fund.
We'll
You
blame
have
Mazzy for that
100
one.
platinum on top of your gold.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got another 1,000, basically.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
6,000 gold. Shit!
How much do them boats cost?
More than 6,000. Depends on the boat, really. Bear in mind, the first Dragon's Revenge, that tiny little thing, cost like 2,000 gold.
Oh yeah. And then I stole the other one.
Was really into, wasn't into paying for his boats, was he?
I didn't steal it. Let's clarify.
It was contraband.
It was a donation.
Daviak looked the other way.
You won it through a prize court. You claimed it.
It was going to be auctioned off. He just got in there before the auction started.
But yeah, I think it was all above board.
It's all
If
about the
you
people
don't-
you know, and the
absolutely.
people you know is Daviak. So
Yeah. A general. So yeah, just saying.
Anyway,
we need to start lubricating the wheels of democracy, my friends.
I told you, corruption lubricates the wheels of democracy.
Anyway, so you're all now outside the Admiral's Tower. You have your mission, if you choose to accept it, obviously, to go down to the lower docks and search the Dancing Devil Tavern, and sort out what potential threat of this cult is down there. What would you like to do now? Are you heading straight there? Are you detouring to anywhere?
Take a
Or...
quick break.
Yes, of
And
course.
I'll
Yeah, I think now's probably
like
quite a good
video
time to
games
have a
combat.
break. Cool. All right. Do you